Welcome to a new deep dive. Today, we're really trying to cut through some of the noise surrounding, well, a huge case. The federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs.
Yeah, it's what everyone's watching.
Absolutely. We're going to dive into the latest, especially what's going on with the jury, and try to figure out what it all means.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how these procedural bits, like the jury deliberations, are really becoming central to the whole story.
Right.
We should probably touch on the charges, too, because they're serious. We're talking racketeering conspiracy, essentially running a criminal operation, plus sex trafficking counts, transportation for prostitution. These could genuinely lead to life in prison.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down a bit. The trials hit this really critical point, right? Jury deliberations are now, into their second day?
That's right. Second day.
And we have this jury, 12 people, 8 men, 4 women. They got their instructions from the judge, Arun Subramanian. But then, things didn't exactly go smoothly straight away.
No, not at all. Things basically stalled almost immediately. Apparently, one juror had real trouble following the judge's instructions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sent multiple notes to the judge about it. So it's not just a small hiccup, you know? It really makes you wonder about distilling complex legal stuff for a regular jury, especially with so much evidence.
That really highlights the human element, doesn't it? And I guess this early problem kind of signals potential issues down the line for any verdict. Are legal experts worried?
They are, absolutely. A big point of discussion is the fact the jury wasn't sequestered.
Meaning they weren't isolated.
Exactly, not kept away from news, social media, all that. And look, it's a 7-week trial. Many experts are saying it's just, well, unrealistic to expect jurors to completely shut out the outside world in this day and age.
Especially with a case this high profile.
Precisely. So you've got this tension between legal procedure and modern reality. And yeah, there's definitely talk that if there is a conviction, these jury management issues could absolutely be grounds for an appeal.
Okay, so with all that swirling around, what are the jurors actually focusing on inside the deliberation room? Do we know what evidence they're digging into?
That's the key question, right? What are they really scrutinizing? And we do have a clue. They specifically asked for the transcripts, the testimony, from 2 really central witnesses.
Who were they?
Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Her accounts of alleged abuse have been, well, pivotal throughout.
Right. Her story has been central.
And also Daniel Phillip. He's the bail stripper who testified he was forced to have sex with Cassie while Diddy allegedly watched.
Okay, so they're going back to that specific testimony.
Yeah. Their focus there really tells you how much weight those particular accounts carry. It suggests they're grappling hard with the credibility of some of the most damning allegations.
And those allegations tie directly into the prosecution's whole narrative, don't they? This idea of a criminal enterprise spanning decades, threats, abuse, coercion, all for his sexual desires.
Exactly. That's the prosecution's core argument.
But then you have the defense, led by Mark Agnifilo, pushing back hard, saying Diddy's innocent, he's being unfairly targeted by the government. How does the jury square those two?
Well, that's the challenge for them. And connecting it back to the bigger picture, you just have to remember the stakes here are astronomical.
Yeah, you mentioned life in prison.
Minimum 15 years if convicted, potentially up to life. And he's already been behind bars since his arrest back in September 2024. That's nearly 300 days already.
Almost a year. Wow. Has there been much said about his demeanor in court through all this?
It's interesting, actually. Reports describe him as being quite calm, reassuring his mother, seen holding self-help books during the trial. It's a striking contrast to the gravity of everything he's facing.
So, thinking about someone just trying to follow this case, what's the takeaway right now? The fact the jury hasn't reached a quick decision, plus these juror issues, it really just highlights how complex and high stakes this whole thing is.
It absolutely does. And, this trial being so high profile and so contested, it sort of forces us to look at the justice system itself. How does it balance these incredibly conflicting stories? How does it handle modern challenges like keeping juries impartial when information is everywhere? It really leaves you with a lot to think about, doesn't it? Especially as everyone just waits for that verdict.